It is the first vlog of third year. It's a new year, it's a new start. Jack and I are in a brand new flat and we have flatmates now.
I'm so sweaty.
Now, should I introduce you all or do you want to say something?
You deal with it.
We've got Luke, Ellie and Jack. Eleanor doesn't live here. Okay, you're not my new flatmate, but you're these flatmates. I'm actually future Lydia from after this vlog was filmed. I was watching the footage and I realised I never really explained how third year works, and third year is actually really different to first and second year, so I thought it would be good to quickly run through how everything is going to work this year. The first 2 years at Southampton were very much kind of sciencey based. We did a lot of physiology, a lot of anatomy, pharmacology, and even like metabolism and stuff. We did get some clinical experience. We had fortnightly GP placement and we also did a couple of healthcare assistant shifts last year, so we did get some clinical experience, but so far that hasn't been the main focus of the course. The main focus of the course was definitely the medical sciences and getting that kind of foundation. We did do some formative OSCEs at the end of second year, so those are like the clinical exams, but they didn't really count. They were more of a practice to get us set up for third year and beyond. But this year is where things actually do start to get a little bit more exciting. Here is the curriculum map for third year. It is kind of split into 2 parts. For the first semester, so from September to January, everyone in our year has to do a research project. And this means at the end of third year, we actually get a BMed Sci, so a Bachelor of Medical Sciences. It's unclassified and we don't get a graduation ceremony for it, but we do get an undergraduate degree at the end of this year because we do the research project. We present our research just after Christmas, so I think it's like the second week in January. We do like a research conference where we have to present what we did and what we found, and we also have to hand in a piece of work. I think it's about 6,000 words, so it's not like crazy big. It's not as big as some people's dissertations. I know some dissertations can be like over 10,000 words, but it is still a substantial piece of work. It's going to take the next 3 months for us to do. And then after we complete our research project in January, we start placements, and we do, I think it's 3 8-week placements from January to June, and then in July we have our third year exams. The exams in third year are a little bit simpler than last year. We just have a multiple choice paper and we have OSCEs, like proper OSCEs that we have to pass, and the exam is definitely going to be a lot more clinically focused than the previous years. Obviously everything we've learned in first and second year will definitely still be relevant. So one thing I am still getting used to is that while we're doing this research project, I don't have any lectures. We don't have anything on our timetables. We are just left to get on with these projects in our own time because everyone's project is so different. So everyone is assigned a supervisor to work with while they're doing their project, and they are your point of call. You organize meetings with them, they help you with the research, and that's kind of it. Like, we just get on with it. We do have some clinical skills sessions in November and December, so we're going to learn how to do injections and taking bloods and things like that, but that's not till later in the semester. So right now I'm kind of just working independently, and like I said, everyone's projects are really different. So some of my friends are in the labs every day, some people are in schools, some people are in the hospital collecting data, and some people are just in the library doing systematic reviews and doing lots of reading. So everyone's day looks very different at the moment. I thought I'd also just quickly explain a little bit about the project that I'm doing, so when I start talking about it you have a rough idea of what's going on. My project is in palliative care. I think way back in the middle of second year we had to rank what kind of projects we wanted to do. We had 10 choices to make, and I think I got my 4th or 5th choice, which was palliative care, just something that I'm quite interested in learning more about. Then throughout second year we had to meet up with the supervisor that we've been assigned and then come to an agreement on what kind of project we wanted to do. So my project is actually a service evaluation looking at the integration of palliative care into the intensive care units at Southampton General Hospital. So we're looking at 3 different ICUs, the general ICU, the neuro ICU and the cardiac ICU, and I'm basically going to be sending a survey to all of the members of staff there, consultants, nurses, healthcare assistants, junior doctors, pharmacists, and I'm basically just surveying them on what they think of the current palliative care provisions within the hospital, what they think of the palliative care specialist team, what they think could be improved, things like that. Because I'm doing a service evaluation, I don't need to go into the lab every day to collect data. I'm just looking at people's opinions and collecting their responses. That is a brief overview of my project. Obviously, I've done a little bit of research before. In my biology undergrad, I did a lab project for my dissertation where I was looking at the cell cycle, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't love being in the lab, which is why I chose to do a service evaluation this time. I wanted something a bit more qualitative, a bit more conversational. So I'm gonna stop rambling now. Here is the first vlog of 3rd year. It was actually filmed over 2 weeks because the first week of term I was still doing my summer job, and it was quite hard for me to vlog while I was just at work all day. So I did just mash it together. So it is 2 weeks, but I've tried to make sure that it's concise and not too much to watch in one video. I hope you enjoy. If you do, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a big thumbs up. So on Monday, before I set off for work, I sat down and just wrote out a general to-do list to just set my goals for the week, for what I wanted to achieve in the project, and then I set off to campus for a day of work at the Student Hub. It was really nice actually to be doing 10 till 6 on this day because it meant I had a bit of time in the morning just to get myself organised. The highlight of my day at work was definitely when they gave us donuts as a little thank you for working one of the bank holidays. And then on my lunch break, I actually decided to get on with some reading for my literature review. At this point, I was going very broad with my searches on Google Scholar because I was still kind of getting to grips with what the general research is that relates to my project. And I get a whole hour for lunch, so I thought it might be useful just to use that time rather than be working as much in the evenings. After my working day was over, I went to the gym because luckily it's opposite the Student Hub on campus. So I did a quick workout before heading home. I've just got back from the gym. Jack is lovingly preparing dinner, having a bolognese. Loathing me. So mean. We're gonna watch House of the Dragon now with dinner. I haven't had time to shower, but Jack seems to be...
Many showers a week anyway.
I shower every day. Hello, good morning. I thought I'd quickly explain where I'm going this morning because I have booked the morning / most of the afternoon actually off work because today I have to meet my project supervisor so we can have our first meeting of the year and talk about the project. I'm just popping over to the hospital now to meet him. He is a palliative care consultant and we met quite a few times in 2nd year when we were getting ready for the project and like preparing and planning what we were going to do. Today is the first day where we're meeting and we're actually doing the project because we've got the ethics approval and we're allowed to start. So I need to go catch the bus now and I need to bring this with me. So this is what the uni gave us. Our laboratory notebooks, and they've said that we have to write everything we do in here throughout the year. So even if we write something on a laptop, we have to print it out and put it in here, and then I think we submit this with our project, and it's kind of just evidence of what we've done and how we've done our research. So I need to remember to bring this with me every time I'm doing anything project related. Haven't written in it yet. It was a wet and windy morning, but I got myself to the hospital in time to meet my supervisor. We tend to just meet in the cafe in the hospital at the moment rather than on the wards. And obviously I didn't get my camera out to film. But at the meeting, we just put a plan in place for what I need to get done over the next few weeks. And so after I did that meeting, I decided to go to a coffee shop just to go through everything, write the minutes into my lab book and put together a to-do list for the next couple of weeks. That's what we got up to at our meeting. We kind of put together a project timeline of when we want to collect data, when I should be finishing my literature review, when we should have all our data, and then what kind of comes next. I guess we'll update later, but it's just nice to have that kind of visual image of like where everything's going, and then just some next steps for our next meeting, because we're meant to meet up once a week. I need to get writing my survey and start the literature review. And then I've just added this at the bottom. I've put the important dates for the project. So the main deadline is 21st of December, and then final submission of the project is 9th of January, and then our project conference, where we have to present our research, is the 11th and 12th of January. Good evening. I wasn't going to vlog after work today, but I do have one very exciting thing to show you.
Are you talking to me?
So we had an email last week saying that we would all be given a slot to go and pick up our very first set of scrubs! Yay! I think I explained yesterday, but in third year we don't start placement until after Christmas, so it's unlikely I'm going to need to wear these for a couple more months, but it's quite exciting to finally own my own set of scrubs. So we're going to do a little try on, a little catwalk, I think we'll do. Okay. Ta-da! It's got pockets! And then Tuesday in the evening, I got myself cozy and got on with some reading for the literature review. If you've never done research or a project before, a literature review is kind of what it is in the name. You just summarise all of the current research and literature relating to your project or your study. And for our projects, we need to make sure our literature reviews are, I guess, around 2,000 to 3,000 words. So it is quite a substantial amount of the project, and then you move on to your methods and your results section in the project. When I'm doing this kind of thing, I like to create a summary of every paper I've read, so that when it comes to actually writing the literature review, it's just easier for me to group together papers that are similar or contrasting. And I tend to also summarise the aims of the study, a bit about the methods, and then any conclusions they made. And obviously I just keep the title and stuff of the paper so that when I go to do my references, it's really easy for me to figure out what everything was. I haven't done a literature review in quite a few years, so just getting used to like properly reading papers again. But I've basically just been going through and looking for anything related to my project. I'm starting very broad, and then I'm going to go a bit more specific later on, but I have mainly been looking for any papers on staff attitudes to palliative care, different type of staff members and their role in end-of-life care. I've been reading quite a lot about nurses and their role in end-of-life care and like how things can be improved. So we're very broad at the moment, and I'm still kind of just getting into the swing of things. This project is definitely a slow burn. Like, we've got, what, 3 months? I think I've already said that this week. It feels good to like just get started, and kind of enjoying not having so many lectures for once. I have been advised by a third year that I should start revising for third year exams in this research project kind of period, so I probably will kick it up a gear in a couple of weeks. So far I am enjoying the slower pace. Wednesday, Thursday and Friday that week I was just doing 10 till 6 again at the student hub, coming home and doing reading. So that brings us on to the second week of third year, where I was actually able to get into a proper routine. No! My phone! Haha!
I think I know.
Did you know I was a cheerleader? 5, 6, 7, 8. This morning I'm going to campus. I need to do some bits for my third year project. I've had an email from my supervisor, so I just need to see what he's asked me to do. Then I'm actually going to the MedSoc bun fight. The bun fight is basically like a clubs and societies fair. So there's the Southampton bun fight, which is all of the clubs, and then there's a MedSoc bun fight, which is just the medical school sports societies, but also the educational societies. And I'm doing a shift for WAMSOC, which is widening participation to medicine society, because I'm on a committee this year, so I do an hour shift just on the stand, so just talking to freshers about the society and what we do, and hoping to get them to sign up. So that is the point of a bun fight. I'm not sure why it's called a bun fight, but it's always been called that since I started here 7 years ago. My first stop of the day was the library, just because I needed to check the email that my supervisor had sent me. I'd sent him the proposed questions for the survey, and over the weekend he got back to me with some feedback, and I was basically just kind of responding to that feedback. So Bun Fight was held in the old sports hall, and all of the freshers just wander around and see what societies are on offer, and our job is to convince them to join our society. What usually happens at Bun Fight is everyone signs up for about 10 different societies, and then a few weeks into the year you realise you can only manage maybe 1 or 2 societies. Turns out, because third year is when everyone has a bit of extra time, most of the stalls were being run by my year group, so it took me a little while longer than planned to leave. This was actually the first time I was seeing a lot of people after summer, so it was a good chance to actually catch up with people.
I'm Christiana. I'm intercalating here at Southampton. I'm the educational lead at WAMSOC.
What are we doing today?
What we're doing today is Bun Fight. Today's Red Bun Fight, so we're just like promoting WAMSOC, letting everyone know what we're about, and it's gonna be a good time.
This is Maddie, our president. Hi Maddie, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm a very chill president. I got free chocolate. That's the only reason why I come over to Lydia. WAMSOC's amazing.
I left the Bun Fight at about 3 because I had a cheeky shift at the pub to do. It was only 4 hours, and I clocked out at about 8 PM in time for the pub quiz. And you can have your staff meal up to an hour after you've clocked out, so I got myself a pie for dinner, of course. Sadly, we didn't win the quiz this week, but we will be inviting Sophie back, as she was really good at the anagrams. Sophie, shout out to you for being the MVP of our quiz that week. On Wednesday, I headed into town to work in a cafe. I'm obsessed with working in cafes at the moment. And I just was making some final tweaks to my survey. I sent it off to my supervisor for him to confirm it was okay for me to send the survey out. But at this point, the survey was like pretty much ready to go. I think it was just tweaking a couple of phrases that I put in the survey. But yeah, he also was able to send me the email addresses for everyone who works in each ICU, which was really helpful because I would have no idea how to get hold of that information. And then I got stuck back into reading for my literature review. I keep a reading list in my bookmarks tab and just work through it, but I swear I never get to the end of it because every paper I read, I find like 5 more papers that they've referenced that I also want to look at. So it's just a never-ending list, and I always have about 1,000 tabs open when I'm doing projects like this. But the most satisfying feeling, of course, is at the end of a project when you have to close all the tabs. Oh my god, best feeling ever. Anyway, I got through another pile of papers and carried on with my method of just pulling out the key points and conclusions from the papers. We are just about to head out on a little walk because Jack works from home these days and he doesn't get out much.
We're 12 minutes late.
Oh shit. So the reason Jack was walking me towards campus was because I had agreed to go swimming with Sophie, Marge and Francesca, because Francesca is a keen swimmer and she kind of convinced us all to go. I'm not a very confident swimmer, but I was happy to give it a go. Hi swimmers! Oh, what? I'm scared. Did everyone enjoy that?
So much fun.
Yeah. Thank you, Francesca, for supporting us.
It was so really.
Everyone feels better now.
I do. My arms feel a bit limp. My whole body feels like relaxed.
After swimming, I quickly cleaned the kitchen with Jack and then got ready to make dinner. It is my turn to cook dinner tonight. We've got Bake Off on the telly and I am cooking my favourite dishes that I can make because actually I think Jack is definitely the better cook in this relationship. But I am making spinach and ricotta chicken pasta. I have made this a few times and it's normally really yummy.
Will you move on with the changing of the seasons? So surely
Good morning. Oh, am I focused? We have already made it to Thursday and I don't feel like I've made the progress that I want to make on this literature review. So today I'm going to the library and I'm not leaving until I've got my plan together and like at least some kind of structure to what I'm going to write, because then I feel like next week I can just type it up. So today is a big day. Hopefully we're going to be very productive. As much as I love working in coffee shops, I feel like there's a lot more distractions. So we're taking it seriously today. We're going to the library. My supervisor emailed me and he is good for the survey to go out. We are sending the survey to the 3 different ICUs or adult ICUs in Southampton General Hospital. So he has kindly sent me all the email addresses of all the staff members that he could get hold of, and I need to send the survey out to them today, and then hopefully I can start collecting some data. I mean, I feel like I'm making progress with the project. I just feel like it's slow. Today really needs to be the day where I get stuff done. The library is still pretty quiet at this time of year because the freshers haven't figured out where it is yet, so I managed to get an entire study room for myself for most of the day. In exam season, I was always very jealous of people who grab these cute window seats. I don't know if that makes me a bit of a nerd, but I like sitting here and pretending I was studying somewhere a bit more picturesque, like, I don't know, Oxford or something. Anyway, back to the important stuff. I got cracking with reading more papers. You know the drill by now. I'm just reading and summarising. Most of the papers were on palliative care or end-of-life care and the evolving role it has within the ICU. But then a lot of it is a bit more general, to be honest, because it is kind of an area that needs more research. Also, I thought it was worth mentioning that I don't always read every paper start to finish, unless it's one that I think is really good or very relevant to my project. I tend to just read the abstract and then read the conclusions if it's something that I think maybe isn't as relevant. And that just saves me a bit of time, and it's a good way of like scanning projects to see whether or not they're relevant. Quick update before I leave the library. I have made good progress with my reading. I've read quite a lot today and I feel like I'm not focusing anymore. Plus it is 5:30, I think. Yeah, it's 5:30, so I think I'm gonna call it a day. But we've been very productive. So, sorry for the dishevelled look, but I've had to wait till Jack has gone to sleep because I need to set the lounge up for his birthday tomorrow morning. I just wanted to set up his presents and stuff so when he wakes up he can walk in to everything looking really cute. After weeks of reading and making notes, I finally got started with my lit review. The weather was actually so bad on this day and it was really dark, so I just got cozy and worked from home and wrote the first 500 words of the literature review because I knew I just wanted to get the introduction down and explain briefly what palliative care was and how it is incorporated into the ICU currently. It didn't take too long to write because honestly at this point I had made like 10 pages of notes. Progress has been made. Literature review has begun. The last thing I actually need to do is I need to select my choices for something we have at our uni called the student selected unit. So after Christmas, every Friday we're going to be doing a student selected unit. We did 2 student selected units in first year, there weren't any in second year, and in third year we have another one. Basically you can choose to do loads of different things. Topics like medicine and spirituality, radiology, supportive and palliative care, unraveling the mysteries of sleep, widening participation and medicine. And you can also choose to do a language. And I actually think I really want to do Italian, so I'm going to do basic Italian. I was going to pick French, but they said if you had a GCSE in French, you'd have to do intermediate French. And I got my GCSE in French 9 years ago, 2013. Oh my god, I got my GCSEs 9 years ago. It's 9 years since I got my GCSE in French, so I don't know how well I would cope in intermediate French. So I'm gonna do Italian. Oh, I hope I'm gonna do Italian. I'm gonna put Italian as my first choice. So these are the SSU choices. I think we have to do 2, but we have to do 10 options. These are all the languages you can do. You can do Italian, Spanish, Mandarin, French, German. And then if you expand them, it just tells you like what kind of things you're going to be doing. Friday night we celebrated Jack's birthday and we actually went out for a really nice meal in Winchester, but our booking wasn't until like 9 o'clock because Jack took a while to pick where he wanted to go for his birthday. So we had a nice little pre-drinks with some cake and presents.
The best boyfriend on your birthday with love and snug.
I'm not that mushy, to be fair.
You're not very mushy.
No, I can be.
Yeah, but in private.
When Jack writes me a mushy card, then I get emotional. What's in the card?
Oh my god. We're going to Mo Gilligan and friends at the O2.
Woo! No, they don't do print-out tickets anymore. I had to make one. Hand! Anything! Tree!
Horsey!
Sun! Anchor!
You're an anchor.
Seaglue!
It was Zelly Wynn.
Target!
Target! Oh no, again the
Target!
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
It's not singing.
Jack. Happy birthday to you. As you can see, Jack loves being sung to. Anyway, that brings me to the end of the first week of 3rd year. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to give this video a like and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys, bye.